with your windows down, holding on, staring out, trying to see, looking back, broken tracks in the black of night. You know you're afraid, but you sing anyway. And you hold me, yeah, you hold me down in the water till I'm not afraid. You come back again and you throw me down, call this saint till you come around. And you hold me, yeah, you hold me down in the water till I'm not afraid.
Here we are under the Story Bridge, and you can hear the thump of the cars as they go over the bridge and hit the expansion joints. So it's just the slap and the thump that we're really after here, which is fantastic when big trucks go over. So it's just a matter of spending some time here, waiting for some good sounds, and picking those out to loop them up and create rhythms out of the beds. Yeah, so I think this has got a lot of potential to create a really nice rhythm bed. So judging from some of these noises, I think we can create something pretty cool out of it. So yeah, this is Lush Studio where we recorded most of the album in Brisbane, Australia, and yeah, it's a brand new studio, but it's full of all this really cool old vintage gear. This great SSL desk, and yeah, some really awesome old vintage microphones as well. So it was really cool recording here, and I think we got a really great sound. This project started, well, it's got a bit of a history of me recording found sounds and using them in different projects, but this is a project designed essentially to capture some of these urban sounds that we hear in our environment and use them to create loops and beds from which to write songs on. And this is kind of where it started. Like, this sound of the car thump over the Story Bridge is a sound that I heard when I was out walking one day and just thought, that sounds so cool and I've got to use that in a song. And yeah, I was sort of recorded a few different tracks of that, and you'll hear in the bed here the solid. So that's the sound of the car hitting the expansion joints on the bridge. And here's another track of that. So they've been edited up into rhythms and loops to so that I can create a song out of it. So Dave Carter's the guy who I gave the files to, and he edited them up into loops and created this rhythm for me. Yeah, he was pretty excited by it. I think he's done a fantastic job. He's essentially taken a whole bunch of noise that I've just recorded out around the city and used them to somehow create these loops, which I think are really cool. So within this song we've also got the sound of a coffee machine. So that's not it. So that's the sound of somebody making a coffee at a local market on Sunday morning. That's also within in this bed. Also we've got just running water I've recorded after a big rainfall event. We've also got sound of crickets just at night calling. And if you put it all together, with this song, it just lended itself to a driving song. So there's a song about a guy driving down the coast looking for a surf break, and yeah, it's a bit of a twisted story about his current life situation. But how I wrote this song was essentially with this ukulele, and just this melody came out. Which, yeah, again is a different way of writing for me. Normally I just start off with a guitar and some chords and a melody that way, but starting with a rhythm bed, it sort of lent itself to a different type of melody, I thought. And it just sort of, the uke just sat really well. Yeah, it's really cool. So I found this really cool stairwell, and there's 8 levels, and the natural reverb in here is really awesome. So I've been opening and closing the doors and slamming them to hear that big crash with the reverb bomb, and then recording that reverb as it goes. So yeah, you'll hear the natural reverb going on in here, so there's stuff moving around everywhere. It's a really cool sound, so I thought I'd grab it. So with this track I recorded essentially building sites around Brisbane, and recorded the sound of concrete pylons being slammed into the ground for foundations for big buildings and things like that. There's truck noises in there, and there's also a bunch of noises from trains as well. So this is the rhythm bed for steel and concrete. So you can hear the sound of concrete pylons being slammed into the ground. There's trucks in there reversing as well. Basically, I used these rhythm beds and then started writing songs over them. So this song turned into a song about steel and concrete. And it's a little bit hard, a little bit challenging finding where the one is in these beats, but the interesting thing about it is that I would find where I thought the one was in the beat, and Dave had another idea for where he thought the one was, so it actually ended up sounding a little bit off-centre to Dave, but it was kind of kooky. So. 'cause they're making steel and concrete.
Stretch this skin we're living in. Generation breathes. Counts as days turn into weeks. A generation bleeds. A generation not yet seen.
Actually, I was writing songs without a guitar, just over the top of those rhythm beds, and it's a different way of writing for me. So just coming up with lyrics and melodies straight over a rhythm bed is a little bit tricky and difficult. I normally use guitars and find a chord progression that I like and then a melody that fits over that. So you end up with a different songwriting process, which is a challenge in itself, but I think you get some interesting results by taking a different way, taking a different route in songwriting. So this is some of my field recording gear. I use a Rode NT4 mic, which sits inside this wind protector here. So it's a bit heavy, this mic in this wind protector, but it does the job. One of the issues is I need to change the battery quite regularly, which is kind of a bit painful because I need to pull everything off. Yeah, that's the Rode NT4 mic, and for this project I've actually just been plugging into this little Zoom recorder, which has got its own XY microphones as well, but it also has a line out, so it means I can just plug this Rode NT4 condenser mic straight into this Zoom recorder. And so the cool thing about this recorder is just really handy for turning on, for pressing on and off a record. A lot of the switches are on the back, on the side, so it's very easy. You can change over the different levels and either WAV format or MP3. Essentially I just use this as a digital storage recording machine, and my headphones plug into that as well. So setup's quite simple, and just need to have something very mobile, so yeah, it does the job. The great thing about this project, I think, is that it actually opens your ears to the sounds around going on all the time. I think a lot of us walk around with iPods on, or even just thinking about something else, but this project has made me just hear sounds in a different way, especially just walking around outside in the city. And that's how I found some of those sounds in the end, because I would go into stairwells just to go out of the building, but instead of just walking out of the building I would actually stop and listen to the door close and listen to the natural reverb that's going on in there. So yeah, it definitely opens your ears to different sounds.